Let's get to the bottom of this. Uh-oh, what just happened? A big thing happened in wrestling. We're going to talk about that, but then we're going to talk about what we're talking about off air because
Well,
we like to rub the knit. We like to rub the fucking dick
what
hole a bit.
happened in fucking wrestling? Was it that I went to Florida and
Guess who WWE just is no longer working there? Guess who's no longer working there?
Vince
Take a guess.
McMahon? I don't know. I
Almost
haven't
Shane
looked.
McMahon.
We already
McMahon
knew
has
that.
been
We already knew that,
basically
didn't we?
released. Well, he just came out in the Rumble.
Oh, I literally haven't even. I
He
forgot
came
the
out in the
Rumble
Royal
happened.
Rumble. This is how
Ladies
great-
and gentlemen,
You know.
I was in Florida.
Ooh.
Being in Florida made me forget everything about
And you
wrestling.
sensed a tremor. You're like,
I was too in Florida. Like, do you understand how Florida?
you're
Fort
just
Myers,
driving
Florida
around a
is?
gator.
I now understand why Gordon Soley drank. I get it. That place is too wild. It's too wild.
I don't know,
Dylan,
man. If I lived
you
on a
would
swamp
love
and someone was
Florida?
like, "You got to pay to live on the swamp," I'd be like, "Suck both my nuts at once, bro." Me and this
Dylan, you
gator
would
run
love
this swamp.
Florida more than anyone else ever because it's literally a state of the guys where you're like, this is my new pal. And then you meet a guy and you're just like, I live in a hockey bag. And you're like, Dylan is bad at picking friends. Like, I always
John
get
lives in a
worried
hockey bag.
I'm worried that I'm one of Dylan's closest friends because I've met the people that Dylan considers friends. And they're either the best people or literal homeless vagrant goons.
Yeah, homeless.
Like,
Don't be homeless.
you can be homeless, but these people are like homeless by choice. They're like, my kind of stink doesn't work indoors. And you're like, oh yeah, I would live inside, but then where would I come? What?
No, but what was I gonna say? No, yeah, Florida seems like a good time.
It was. So Shane McMahon gone from the company. I mean,
No,
welcome.
let's talk about the Foo Fighters first.
Okay, this is my problem with the Foo
You
Fighters.
don't understand why people don't like the Foo Fighters. Here's
No,
the thing
I
is-
do. I don't understand why people like. It's one of the like when people are like, "Oh, I fucking hate the Foo Fighters." It was like, we covered this. Yeah, no one likes them.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when something that you're mad about. So this is my theory on life, bro.
Go on.
You ready for my life theory, bro?
Go on, bro.
So, people, when there was actual like gatekeepers, there is still gatekeepers, but when the entertainment industry had gatekeepers or there was nobody to get around the gatekeepers, there were things that would just be shoved down your fucking throat. Drake was one of those things. So is the Foo Fighters. At least in Canada, there's Canadian content laws, so you have to play Drake. Also, Drake's like one of the biggest artists in the world. So
When
I don't know how much. I'd assume we hear Drake as much as everyone else does, but anyway, when you are indifferent to something and it's shoved down your throat,
Back up. First of all, Drake is way more played in Canada than anywhere else.
that would make sense.
Also, if Drake wasn't Canadian, he would be outed for the alleged rampant pedophilia he engages in.
I mean, no, people listen. If people like something enough, they'll just overlook
I
it.
completely
And the
agree
funny
with
thing
you. I
is,
completely agree with you.
because this is a conversation noted pervert Alex Wood and I had yesterday. Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets, who people like because like Kevin Durant has like millions of followers, unequivocally probably one of the best scoring basketball players of all time. People like him because some guy with like 7 Twitter followers, but KD's playing like shit tonight. And then this man with like 10 million Twitter followers will be like, your profile picture's an egg, and I just looked up, and you work in a warehouse. Fuck you. I could crush you with my wallet. And people are like, that's Kevin Durant. He's the most petty man in the world. He liked a bunch of posts that were basically like, the Jews run this world. Like, he liked a bunch of those posts, and everyone's just overlooking it because they're like, but he's vaccinated, and I like him. So it's just like Drake will be. There will be, and I've thought this for years. There will be a documentary about Drake that everyone's like, oh, I guess that was fucked up, and then immediately 2 weeks later, someone will look into it, and then they'll stop. Much like Michael Jackson, where everyone's like, beat it. Sorry, beat it was worth that pain. It's like the world is like, I understand your pain, but I don't really care because I'm still playing Beat It at my wedding.
I think Drake is a objectively horrific musician. I think all of his songs were badly prepared, and I do not think that he is at a level of talent to deserve societal protection from. He doesn't deserve to be R. Kelly.
One of the first people
And
that
you know
came
who else
up with
doesn't
emo
deserve?
rap.
R. Kelly. I hate it. I hate Drake. I think he's a fucking hypocrite. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he's
Fucking
literally part of the reason why
Aubrey.
Toronto is way less of a good city, because Toronto, within the space of 10 years, went from a very multicultural, interesting place to like, hey, we got condos.
Yeah,
I
everywhere's like
fucking
that.
hate it. It's not. No, it's not. It's
Bought out by
it's
condo
so-
developers. Drake also. I mean, The Weeknd's great. I love The Weeknd. But
I
anyway,
also don't care for The Weeknd. I also, by the
of
way,
course. Well, John only
do
likes.
not
What kind of
know-
music do you like, John?
I like the following bands. I like Pantera, but only when they're
Okay.
appearing at festivals and ordering drinks.
So
I
John likes a white supremacist band. That's first one out of the.
those are your words. I stand with the truckers.
Remember when Phil Anselmo yelled "White Power" at a?
Of course, that was the
concert?
joke I was making.
And another one was
Dylan,
everyone just ignored
no.
that and was like, "But I really like this love." So anyway,
No. That was so much better. It was so much better because he didn't say "Yay, white power." He said, "What am I drinking tonight? White wine. Why is it white? White is right." It was so much better. It was so much better.
No, he said "white power," and then people were like, "What are you talking about, white power?" And he's like, "Oh, because I was drinking white wine, so like white wine power." And you're like,
Oh, that's what
the
it was.
most
That's
fucking
right. That's
flimsy
right. That's
bullshit.
right. Yes. Oh, it was so good. It was what I think that was my favorite. Like, Phil's about to have to pay for his house.
But then we're wrestling fans.
Oh,
So
I
we were like,
completely agree on all the
familiar boots. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of
Where
course.
everyone else
Yeah,
is like,
yeah,
What do I do? And I was
You're
like, the only person that I can listen to and tell people I listen to from my childhood is Rob Zombie, and he literally made a haunted house with pedophilia in it. Like, part of the haunted house was pedophilia because like, people are scared of it. I'm like, all right, well, you have Asperger's, so that's true. People are scared of it. So
when
yeah,
did
let's
he
trigger
do this? When did he
look
do
it up.
this?
He made a haunted house
he didn't.
that had pedophilia in it.
When you say had pedophilia,
So, all right, I'm explaining this poorly. I don't know. I didn't look at it. Don't want to end up on a list that I'm probably already on with this mustache and these fucking biceps, you know? Usually perverts aren't this jacked. But, I'm assuming it wasn't a live play. So does this mean? I assume it was just like a drawing and then an arrow was like, this guy's underage.
all right. So far, I have not seen. I literally typed in Rob Zombie haunted house. Nothing has come up.
I mean, Rob Zombie's Great American Nightmare.
Is that what it is? It's Rob Zombie's Great American Nightmare. Okay. Where is the showcase of that horrific crime, Dylan, you liar? Dylan, are you lying again? Are you lying? Dylan, are you about to have an F because you're lying down? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wrestler Review with John. He's moral.
So anyway, what's our other favorite bands?
I can't think of any other white supremacist bands for this bit, if I'm totally honest with you. I thought
No, but like legit. So you like 80s metal and like that's okay.
I certainly do. But
Yeah,
here's the
that's
thing.
okay.
Is luckily it's like I like
But that's not a reason to like okay, I
okay,
don't
first of
like
all,
Drake
here's the
personally.
thing. Here's the thing is I like Megadeth, and by the way, like hairy hypocrite right
Oh,
there.
buddy.
Because
Megadeth
Dave
is the
Mustaine,
best.
oh my god, Dave Mustaine is literally like, first of all, Barack Obama isn't even a man.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what? Why? And he's like, well, you know why. And it's like, oh no, Dave, no. He's like, because he's literally Satan.
I'm
It's
not
like,
a
oh my
big
God.
fan of these left-wing politicians like Mussolini.
Yeah, hello,
Doing
me.
you a
I just want to let you know
favor,
that I
sucking all
genuinely
your
believe in
chickies.
witchcraft and yet
Yeah.
don't believe in mental illness.
Oh, buddy. No, yeah, but what was I gonna say?
Mustaine,
Drake. I want to say Drake is one of the things about Canada where it's like, it is also one of they always say Canada is the world's biggest small town because Drake also everyone in Canada will do the annoying thing like, you remember when you were on Degrassi and he's like, yeah, but I'm like a billionaire now, and they're like, yeah, but you were on TV as a loser. It's like. And every Canadian celebrity gets that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about Shane McMahon being let go by the WWE. But they didn't obviously phrase it as a release. This is breaking news.
I also want to point out this is
Point it out.
This is a segue because, as we all know, Shane McMahon is the Drake / Foo Fighters of the WWE.
No, he is.
No, Stephanie is.
No.
Shane organically
Shane
is
is.
accepted.
Because
No.
Shane.
You want to fight?
No,
you want to
because-
take your shirt off?
let's
Take your
fucking
fucking
fight.
shirt off. Take your
I'll
fucking
take my
shirt off
fucking
now.
shirt off and you'll
Take your
fucking
shirt off and take your
just-
dick out. We're size off. Size off. Size off. Size off. Size off. Get your fucking wife in there to judge. Get her in there to judge. She's judging the size of you.
That's the whole thing. There's extra stuff too.
Oh
This
my
is
God!
This is what it looks like.
Penises. You have so
This
many
is what
penises.
it looks like. They're all small, but there's so many of them.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Shane is the Foo Fighters or Drake because it was like, hey,
great
look at this
stuff.
guy doing this cool move, and you're like,
No,
but I
no,
watch wrestling,
no,
and Rob Van
no,
Dam did that move better,
no.
and they're like, yeah, but
Back
like
it up.
Drake,
Back it
Shane-
up.
Okay.
That's first Shane, or with Shane is possibly the best debut of anyone in the Attitude Era. Comes out to stop Stone Cold Steve Austin from being fired. Gives him his job back, only to betray him again.
To me.
Now,
God.
then what happens is he's a great part of the corporate sort of storyline, and it only gets very weird starting at WrestleMania 17, where they just give him Rob Van Dam's moveset. That's when it gets weird.
Once he becomes Daredevil Shane McMahon, because like, dude, Shane McMahon, his dad's fucking little boy who be his lapdog. That's great, and I think
Great.
And Shane reached a level
X-Pac
where he was,
versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 15, possibly the match that sold the most tickets on that card.
Look who they put him with though. X-Pac, who we all know from all those stories, is the dude
really
that
good
would
at
be like,
injecting
he's just-
meth into his body.
but he's like also like one of the guys where it's like, hey, Steve-O's gonna have a match. Put him with X-Pac because X-Pac will just somehow make this a pro wrestling match.
Isn't it also so crazy that wrestling, it's like, who's the best at making anyone look good at this? You see that guy who's injected so much meth, his feet have actually burst from his cowboy boots? Yeah, that guy. Like
that
what?
guy holding a dog, because if he doesn't have the dog, then he has a panic attack, and that results in him just trying to rub inebriant substances into his eyeballs. Anyway,
the only thing on the planet that at one time could be described as, did a woman in a tree have a baby? And then followed by, who's that haggard
crazy
boy? Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like he really is. You look at X-Pac and it's like, well, that's what happens to you in wrestling. You look at Hit 1 2 3 Kid 2 6 and you're like, oh geez, wrestling fucks you. Wrestling just fucking kills you. He was awesome in the NWO. Anyway,
He really was. That was the best the NWO. Okay, go ahead.
He is the Foo Fighters because he was part of something great and then he left and it sucked. Because the thing about Shane McMahon is that they could have brought in all these actual professional wrestlers, people who actually were good at this and done all those superhero spots that Shane McMahon did. But he got to do them because he's the boss's son. Now, obviously, no one's gonna fucking sit here and like shit on Shane McMahon like the dude's jumping off a 30-foot cage onto something. Like he could very easily hurt himself. I'm just saying.
Alex Wood, who was mentioned at the top of this episode, claims that is one of the best matches of his life, and it actually
he also likes
hurts
the Foo
me.
Fighters. He loves the Foo Fighters.
No, he doesn't.
He loves them.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, because I toyingly.
He doesn't. Get him on the phone. Get him on the fucking phone.
I'm not doing that.
I will. What? Give me his number.
What's his number? Say it over this podcast.
Say it over the line. Say it over the line.
No, because he'll get too defensive. No, we're not doing this.
Why aren't we doing this? I want to know.
Because
I want to know if he likes the Foo Fighters or not.
he does. It's not uncommon that you know people that like the Foo Fighters. What I'm saying is,
I don't mind them. I like that Everlong song.
I guess you just weren't watching them enough. I don't hate them. It's just like.
Here's
me,
my
there's
question.
No
Wait a minute.
reason
Wait a minute.
they should be
Wait a
on
minute.
the air other
Dylan,
than he's a celebrity already.
Dylan.
Yes.
Dylan. Did you have cable growing up?
What type?
Like, did you have access to much music?
I did.
So I think that this is where it comes down to is I didn't, and Alex
Oh,
Wood, I don't
okay.
think did it. So the Foo Fighters weren't played that much on my local rock station because I listened to Shea 106 Classic Rock. Why Classic Rock? Because it's classic and it rocks. Because I want to hear moral men like Ted Nugent, Robert Plant,
That was
Eric
sick, though.
Clapton, all men who, when they see a young woman, they go, I'm going to adopt you so I can take you over state lines, and that's not illegal.
Oh no, John.
They all did it. They all did it. I mean, Ted Nugent and Steven Tyler are the only two I actually know who've done it. And Steven Tyler has owned up, said it was a total mistake, and he feels bad about it every day. And Ted Nugent said, "No, I didn't. That's not true." And then they said, "But Ted, we have all this videotape of you admitting it and all of these photographs of you and the girl, and then her telling the story, and it's exactly what the story is." No. I'll say this about Ted Nugent. That guy is the best at denying things that are true ever. Got COVID, told everyone he has COVID, is now telling people, "I never had COVID. I don't know who told you that." And then you could be like, "Here's you." And he's like, "No, that's not me." Like, all right, no. He wins.
It's a crisis actor. Yeah, Steven Tyler, actually, that's why Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic were. It was women he had adopted and forced to live in his attic. That was the... Aerosmith can also get fucked.
No, Aerosmith rules. You fuck off.
Aerosmith fucking sucks.
Why does Aerosmith suck? What's your fucking problem? What do you hate Joy? You're a dad now, Dylan. These are all the bands you have to listen to.
They sound like dog shit. They look like dog shit. They're only popular because they're American.
Good point. Not. That is not true at all. They have some of the best rock and roll albums of all time are from Aerosmith. Yes, they do.
Shit covered in shit, covered in
No,
piss.
you're just not being this is having a conversation when Dylan, when he knows he's wrong, but he doesn't know how to back it up.
I'm not wrong.
You are wrong.
Steven Tyler was like, actually, we were better than Led Zeppelin. Like, you just copied Zeppelin with Dream On, and then you made Toys in the Attic, which
they did not. They came out at the same time as Zeppelin. Zeppelin was a band in England while they were a band in America. They didn't copy each other. They came out at the same time.
When was Dream On?
I'm gonna look it up. You little fucking
look up Dream On and look up Nervous Breakdown. This is all just like me being a loser in high school coming back.
Look up Nervous Breakdown.
Yeah, Nervous Breakdown was the first Zeppelin hit. Dream On. Dream On.
No, because you said they ripped off Aerosmith with Dream On. Okay, so Dream On came out 5 years after Zeppelin's first album, but they didn't. And then, I could see where you think that, but you're wrong. You're doing an impression of you. That's an impression of you.
And then Steven Tyler, because basically the America didn't want to have just these British bands fucking chugging on their bitches and fucking sucking on their titties, so they got some fucking scarecrow looking motherfucker and a guy with a beautiful jawline, Joe Perry, to make some dog shit albums. They're covered.
It's not dog shit. They're very good. Dylan just doesn't know art. This is Dylan's impression of good art, and it's Dylan doing it. That is Dylan doing it. Again, what is crazy about right now and what is bigger is clearly the WWE is for sale. Clearly Vince McMahon is leaving. And what I truly think it is Vince McMahon has just gone insane and is like, we're going back to when it was successful. Me and Bruce. Not remembering that it was also Pat Patterson and a raft of legendary wrestlers as his roster. As opposed to now where, no offense, I keep trying to pop on the WWF. I don't care. Seth Rollins is gone from an engaging wrestler to one of the least watchable fucks.
Yeah.
Is Seth Rollins' gimmick the guy who plays the guitar at the house party, but he forgot his guitar? Because that's what it comes across as.
It's like the Joker, because the last movie that Vince watched was The Dark Knight. So it's like,
you watch fucking Kevin Owens. I have never cared less about a human being more than Kevin Owens at this point. Stop it. What? It's also, by the way, it's this weird thing of think less of the guy when they're like, I'm not signing with AEW, and I'm like, why? Why wouldn't you just go somewhere? Like, you should just go somewhere where you can do your job.
Yeah, but now it's like it's kind of a full boat. It's weird who they're taking to, but that's besides the point. Shane McMahon probably left because he's like,
what are the odds that Shane McMahon? What's the number Tony Khan has to give Shane McMahon for him to walk onto WWE TV or AEW TV?
I don't know. That's very interesting. I was thinking more along the lines of, I'm kind of shocked that that this company wouldn't be like, hey, let's try and get Vince out and have Shane take over because he's still lucid.
Yeah, it's also Shane.
It's like the McMahon name.
Yeah,
maybe Stephanie's going to take over. Who knows?
I think Well, no, I don't know, because it's also this whole thing with Triple H. Like, it's just an odd, weird. It's stupid Succession. I'll tell you what I think happened is I think Vince McMahon watched the first episode of Succession and was like, we'll do that. And they're like, what? No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is like crazy. Imagine how crazy you're 70. How old is Vince McMahon?
75.
75. Imagine how crazy your grandfather is, and then imagine they never went to bed.
Yeah, it's just bananas. It's fucking wild.
And he can't talk anymore. He's 76 years old, and if you look at these Austin Theory segments, and the only reason I watch them is because other wrestling recap podcasts would talk about it, but it's like you can't understand what the fucking guy's saying.
But I don't understand why. What's weird is he usually is even able to be like, all right, we need to take this off the air. Like he took himself off television.
76.
I agree with you. Let me finish my point, or I'm going to punch you in your fucking face. He took himself off television for 10 years because he felt he looked too old. I still am like, what? He's not someone who goes back on a decision ever. Do you know what I mean?
What changes did he make?
Oh, he got a facelift. Are you fucking serious? Facelift.
He got a fucking dump truck full of fucking plastic surgery.
Yeah, so he doesn't think, oh, yeah. Yeah.
So now he kind of looks like the clown and like the fucking doll from Saw, and he just tarted himself out there.
Yeah, he really did. He's a real hot fuck.
But that's crazy. The Shane McMahon thing is, I mean, he's left before, but there was a time when they were definitely using him as like obviously the GM of the show and whatever. Anyway, let's talk about the Rumble.
I just want to quickly point out
anything
that Vince McMahon Shane needs to go. If this had been the first time Shane had left, I think we would see him pop up in AEW and there would be a lot more fracas. I think that there is something up and there is a reason why. Like, I think there's more to this now. I think we're going to get an announcement of a sale relatively shortly here.
He was just a performer, too. It's not like he was backstage. That was clear. He's just a performer.
But the thing is like this, he was essentially their tentpole performer. Do you understand that Shane McMahon was the last of the Attitude Era guys that can still do moves?
It's true.
Like that's what I mean. Like it's one of those things where it's like,
I guess Edge, but Edge is really more like the Cena era.
Yeah, like Edge was like how Triple H was like the big last breakout star of the Attitude Era and was the bridge into the Ruthless Aggression era. And then Edge was the first big star along with like Ruthless Aggression with Cena. Like he was the Andre the Giant to John Cena's Hulk Hogan, essentially. Is that right? He's the Bobby Heenan, I guess.
Oh, he's the main antagonist.
Yeah, so so that would be Bobby Heenan, not Andre the Giant for Hulk Hogan. Who would be Hulk Hogan's perennial main enemy?
Antagonist? Bobby Heenan.
It's Bobby Heenan.
Until they moved Heenan into commentary for some reason. And then but that was the through line that really led those 80s things. Like that's really the genius of Bobby Heenan is that like for like you say 4 years.
Mainly 2. I would say WrestleMania 2, WrestleMania 3. And then, because Hogan opponents, we will talk about the Rumble in a second. I just want to throw this. So Hogan, the first big man Hogan opponent, Sheik. Then it's Piper with Orndorff in there somewhere. So it's Piper, Orndorff. None of them. It's only in the build to WrestleMania 2. You get King Kong Bundy, led by Bobby Heenan. He beats Bundy. Heenan's next move, Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase then...
DiBiase takes over.
No, it's DiBiase takes over as the main antagonist. Then it's Boss Man is the main antagonist for Hogan in the house shows. Then it's Mega Powers Explode. And Hogan's not really around. And then it's Hogan's the champion, transition to Warrior. So there was, I don't know. Oh, Earthquake. That's right. It was Earthquake and then someone else in between them. Yeah. But yeah, that's a weird thing.
And you're kind of weirdly robbed of like a Rick Rude Hulk Hogan feud that would have been like 80s amazing, where it's like
Rick it would have been like, fucking.
What's the classiest way I could say this guy? It's a tall dude, but my cock's thicker than his.
Don't use those words at all. Too late. Already recorded a bunch with Gene.
I already, I mean, there was no camera there, but he seemed excited. The thing with Rick Rude and Hulk Hogan is I don't think that Hulk Hogan would ever work with Rick Rude because Hulk Hogan would have had to take too much actual damage as a wrestler.
Okay.
In that the reason why you work with a big giant monster is they can do big, flashy, crazy moves. But really, if you watch any Hogan match, he doesn't do, like, all of the bumps he takes, he punch, down on the mat, rest hold.
Yeah, there was my favorite podcast. They would look at old nitros from
the eye rake,
and they would just No, they do a bump count, and there was like so many matches for Hogan had legit 0. Like he just like, oh, I'll take a knee, but Max, I'll take a knee. But no, Rick Rude he didn't work as a monster. He worked as
I agree with you. I agree that he didn't work as a monster,
Atomic
which means
drops.
you'd have to do back. Yeah, but Hogan's not taking an atomic drop. Like when did Hogan
but
ever take an atomic?
The Rick Rude would take an atomic drop and sell it like someone shoved like a bottle up his butt.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
then again, he probably didn't like working with heels like that who had signature spots they would take, like Flair flipping over the rope and then getting clotheslined, because like those spots are dope
really
for us.
And also really show that his entire end of a match is just a fucking rehearsed spot that he does every time.
And it takes you out of the match. Like, I love Ric Flair and I love Rick Rude, of course, but like the fact, I don't think everyone talks about how dope Ric Flair as a worker is, and that's probably because like we talked about in the Meltzer episode, but like Meltzer bigs up his friends, but it's like if you have signature spots, like you get beaten up in the same way every time, it like takes me out of the match.
I agree with you. Yeah, it is the one thing with Flair that's a bit. It's something.
That's the whole thing about wrestling, and the whole thing. Sorry to cut you off, but like the whole thing about wrestling is it's dumb, but if someone's a really good wrestler, then you forget you're watching wrestling for half a second, and then you're like, "Oh fuck, they got me. I'm dumb."
So here's the thing.
It's like
yeah. Now here's the thing with Bret Hart's point about Ric Flair, which is 100% true, which is Ric Flair knows how to wrestle one very broad, showy style of match and refuse to ever learn any other style of match. What's funny is I think Bret is also guilty of that, and any good worker is guilty of that. They just wrestle one version of a match, and their magic.
Bret had his spot too, like the turnbuckle chest thing.
Oh, of course, making it seem like it's not the same thing over, like, you know what I mean? Like it's always the same thing over and over again. It's why Kenny Omega is so fun to watch. Is Kenny Omega's matches don't ever seem the same, but if you watch 3 back to back, you're like, well, they're pretty similar actually. They just don't seem that like he's just.
Well, and then it's like, oh, he does 1 million fucking knee lifts, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense because if you're like, that's like if you're looking at wrestling as a real thing, which it whatever. But anyway, if you look at it like you accept this thing is real, then it's like, of course, a guy would do 1 million. If you're open for it, 1 million of the move that could finish the match. It's quick. Like, this makes sense. Ric Flair going to the top and then, oh, why did I do this? And then missing the fucking splash for legit 20 years in a row. Like,
do you think Ric Flair has come to terms with? I was thinking about Ric Flair yesterday. Do you think he has come to terms with the Plane Ride from Hell? Because they've put the Plane Ride from Hell episode on YouTube, and I'm just like, I don't want to watch this again. That was so fucking brutal. It was just like, not only does the thing you like, isn't it filled with monsters, but they're also the worst.
There's a thing I'm talking about too.
I know exactly, you are right. But here's the thing with that, which was I just went, Tommy Dreamer, Ric Flair, I both love your work. I was fans of you forever. I'm out. Sorry, guys. I just can't do. I don't have time.
If the Ultimate Warrior had done that, or like someone who like,
oh my god, they would have crashed the plane. The pilot would have said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a 9/11," and everyone went, "We understand."
But like, if Ultimate Warrior, anyone that like the dirt sheets doesn't like, Ryback. I don't know why Ryback, but Ryback. Someone.
But can we? Okay, keep going.
Oh, just saying, someone internet journalist didn't enjoy, then canceled. Enzo, same thing. Enzo did a bunch of fucked up shit. Canceled. Ric Flair, yeah, he forced a stewardess to put her hand on his dick. I knew he loved pussy. Like, let's move on. You know what I mean?
The thing with how do I say?
And this is across all media. This isn't just wrestling. This is
yeah.
If people like the guy, then you'll get away with whatever.
Comedy is the best. There's a bunch of examples of people that would
say Sean Penn. Sean Penn's like, you can't say nothing nowadays. Didn't you used to beat your wife?
Yeah, Sean Penn.
And I told people about it. All right.
Yeah. First of all, Dylan, you're incorrect. He
beat Madonna.
He tied Madonna up and held her by her throat out of a window and said something crazy. So technically,
that's so okay. There was no hit in.
And I guarantee Sean Penn is like,
he held his wife. Sorry,
exactly. Sean Penn's like, can you correct the record? Can you correct it? Here's why I don't like Sean Penn.
I'm strong enough to lift a woman. So
yeah, I'm strong enough to lift a woman.
Cool.
I'm strong enough to lift a woman, and I've been to Haiti. Where have you been? I'm Sean Penn.
Mm-hmm.
I was in
There's
Dead
a guy
Man
I'd like
Walking.
to punch in the fucking face.
Oh, Sean Penn, 100%. Sean Penn, by the way, if I saw him on the street, I take off my belt, I put it in a line in front of me, and I go step over the line, Sean. You'll see what happens.
Well, this is at Toronto International Film Festival. They were like, he started smoking, and someone was like, "Put that fucking cigarette out, or you'll be fined." And he's like, "You really gonna find me?" And they're like, "Yeah." They fined him. I would like that plus someone just sucker punching him unconscious.
I mean,
and-
this is one of my favorite things about that happened here in a venue that involved Dave Chappelle, which was Dave
Oh,
Chappelle
yeah.
took a bunch of mushrooms and started smoking inside, and they were like, "We have to close." And he's like, "Why? I'm Dave Chappelle." And they're like, "It's 4 a.m. We can't afford to keep our staff here." And he was like, "I'll pay him." And they were like, "Nope, just stop." And he was just like, "I'm not stopping." And they were like, "Okay, well, then what do you want us to do?" And then he was like, "Well, I won't work here again." And they were basically like, "You will." And he was like, "No, I fucking won't. I'm out." And he canceled all of the shows, called back the next day, and put them all back in. That's my
100%.
favorite thing is when people are like, I love when people I'm the big dog, get tested. You're like, really? And it's like, yeah. Fuck you, Sean Penn.
I think I saw someone like that too in England, where he's like, he started smoking inside. And they're like, "You can't smoke inside in here." He's like, "No, you can't smoke inside in here." And then there's laughing or whatever, and then basically someone for the venue was like, "I'll put the fucking cigarette out for you, little bitch." And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I think that's Dave Chappelle. I think
No, it was Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Dave Chappelle all the time tries to be like, this is why the Dave Chappelle stuff, we talked about him before, because we're both of one mind on this, where it's like, we all saw this coming from a miggity mile away, where it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, the laughter didn't replace the no hugs. Time to get buff. Well, that didn't work either.
Yeah, time to go after the people with my words. It's just
Yeah,
like,
time
really,
to
guys?
time to go after the people who are transitioning because they're okay with themselves in a way that I will never be. So anyway, whatever.
It's
all
more than
boring.
that.
Let's
It
talk
is all
about
boring.
the Royal Rumble, which is more
Okay,
boring.
tell me. I don't even know, Dylan, who won the Royal Rumble. I haven't even looked it up.
Perfect.
I don't know anything. I want you to tell me,
Close your eyes.
and then I'm gonna guess whether or not.
No, you guessed before what happened. Honestly, knowing what you know about WWE, which I know we don't watch WWE very much, but knowing what you know, guess what happened.
wait.
I'm sure you're gonna guess it.
I
right.
saw something. I'm going to be totally honest. I think I know what happened because I
Think
saw
about what
one
happened 3
tweet.
years ago. That happened.
I saw one tweet about it.
Yeah.
Did Brock Lesnar win?
So yeah, Man Bun Lesnar won because they did the classic thing where Lesnar had the title, Roman Reigns had the title on both shows, and Roman won his match. Or I think Roman DQ'd anyway. Roman got the title, kept the title. Lesnar lost to Bobby Lashley because Roman screwed him over, and then of course Lesnar came out number 30.
Are we doing Lesnar
Reigns. Which, to be
at
fair,
WrestleMania? I mean, this will be the best one because people actually like Roman Reigns. But seriously, guys,
I want to see how many WrestleMania.
let's see if I can do it.
You can look up.
Okay,
you
I'm
can
gonna
guess how many
I'm gonna guess.
WrestleManias they've headlined.
3. They're the same level of Austin.
All right,
Rock.
you just say words and I'll
It's 3. It's 3. These are the ones that they headlined. They headlined Levi Stadium where Seth Rollins came out. Possibly what could have been one of the worst Royal Rumbles turned out to be one of the best Royal Rumbles, that being, of course, WrestleMania, whatever that was. Is it 2 or 3 now? Because I then had him, Roman, it was Lesnar, but it wasn't Lesnar, Roman.
So we don't know
in
which
Dallas.
we don't know which ones that I don't know the number of WrestleManias that they've wrestled at.
No, I want to know the amount of the WrestleManias they wrestled each other.
So-
I don't give a.
Where they've wrestled each other, because now WWE will also do a thing where it's like their main event isn't really the main event.
Yeah, there's like 8 main events. Every match is the main event. Well, except for what's the last one? The most main.
Yeah, the biggest main event, which is like
Mega
that.
main.
Obviously, that's the frickin' thing that CM Punk was so mad about was they just said he was the main eventing because he wrestled. But anyway, here we go. We have 2. So we have 2. I forgot how funny it is to call something a boneyard match. Anyway. Ooh, I'm in the boneyard. So we
Wait,
have.
did they wrestle
This will be the
that
3rd
fucking-
time that Brock Lesnar
Oh.
and Roman Reigns main
Oh, I
event at
thought this was the
WrestleMania.
4th time.
I'll see if they WrestleMania main evented. If they main evented last year, I don't think they did.
I don't even. I think it was Drew McIntyre and somebody.
No, I just want to see if they wrestled each other. No, they didn't wrestle each other last year. But this will be the third WrestleMania main event. So this is like they're just pretending this is as successful as The Rock versus Austin, which is very funny. But this is The Rock versus Austin of like when we first did this match in 2015, we had a lot of viewers, and it's gotten worse and worse each time. Let's go. But this is
what's interesting. Well, what is interesting is, and if you interrupt me one more time.
What? Yeah, go
this
for
is
it.
the only time people actually care about this match, in that they're like, oh, I'll watch it. Like, I'd watch head of the table Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, I guess. Yeah, fine. But, like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about any of this.
Well, this is the thing about the whole event, is that if they would have just done this 7 full fucking years ago and been like, oh, turns out people like watching Brock Lesnar beat the fucking shit out of people, and have Roman Reigns come out and be like, I'm the face of this company and nothing will ever change that, then everyone would have loved it. But, you know, like the first time they wrestled, remember, it started off as Reigns versus Lesnar,
and Rollins came out. That's what I said.
And Rollins cashed in.
Yeah,
So
and they saved it. That WrestleMania is probably one of the best that on paper looked like it was going to be one of the worst.
But this is the shitty thing, is like that 7 years ago, that decision really highlights the fact that, oh, they know what everyone wants. They're just like going to try and figure a way out that they get what they want.
And what I never understand is, why do they have any want? My want is, I run a wrestling company. I'm going to put in the ring. I will put in the ring the thing that brings the most people to my fucking company.
I mean, this is the question that everyone's had for a million years, where it's like, this is literally like if they came out with New Coke, and then instead of just going back to Coca-Cola Classic, taking the hit in the short term and the long term, making back all their market share, they would have been like, no, you fucking like New Coke, motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's exactly it. Vince McMahon's strategy to businesses is like, people really like this Coca-Cola. We're making Sprite. But Vince, I said Sprite is the future. And they're no longer drinkers. They're galaxy connoisseurs.
Well, and this is the other thing where it's like, everyone talks about how shitty, and we talked about this on the show before, how shitty 1995 was, and like, oh, 1995 was a terrible year. But Vince still like listened to people and did what the audience wanted for a couple years. So that was that was 3 years that it stunk, I guess you could say. Those 3 years that it stunk, 93 to 96, and then it got great. This has been like an uninterrupted slide of like 20 years.
Because
where they're like,
what it is he doesn't have any wrestling guys. I can't believe I'm siding with Jim Cornette. And one of the things I wanted to talk about at the end of this chat is, why do we all like Jim Cornette? Like, why do we actually all like him? And what it in the end is Jim Cornette is and this comes back to your point. I'm going to make a point here. He is the avatar, the most wrestling person wrestling can be a person. You know what I mean? Like, his if the internet's to believe, his sexuality is watching wrestlers fuck his wife. He lives, breathes kayfabe. Mm-hmm. There are those kind of guys out there, and those guys need to be within wrestling companies, because they will actually do the things that make wrestling incredibly enjoyable to watch, which was they will create the drama that makes it seem like it's a legitimate sport, but just with crazy people being the athletes, fist fighting their way to the top.
Which is why
they don't have any of that. Which is exactly why he loves CM Punk. He loves CM Punk. It's exactly why he also likes Bryan Danielson. It's exactly why, like, Jim Cornette hates AEW, but he actually loves AEW, because AEW is just the NWA, and he knows that he'll be the biggest wrestling podcast on the planet if he just says this is bad. Because every internet wrestling fan is like, it's not exactly the way I envisioned it.
Well, what Jim Cornette is he gets really, really, really upset about subtleties. And to be honest, he's like the thing where he talked about how they had the 3 judges, and he was so pissed that they basically didn't do, like, Jim Cornette gets upset that they don't do exactly what old wrestling did, where it's like they had the 3 judges. Obviously, the 3 judges, nobody would ever actually make a wrestling match come down to a judge's decision, but he was just pissed that they didn't get like basically new characters to be the judges and talk about who the judges were. And you know, Danielson like tries to buy one of the judges off, like do this old school real slow build to the judges, which does work, but it's like at the same time, when you're working with an audience that knows every single wrestling trope, you kind of have to go like, okay, well, they know this, we have to do this, but not in a Vince Russo way. So I guess it's pretty delicate.
Is it delicate, Dylan?
I guess. I mean, it turns out that writing something every single week, constantly for 2 hours, probably fucking crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's talk about this one. This was fun because someone mentioned this to me, and I certainly didn't hear about it. Probably because at the time, I don't think at the time of speaking out was AEW a thing.
Yeah.
Was it?
Because I remember this. Because didn't they send one Darbin Alley to? No, it was someone else.
Oh no, she did it. So this lady did this in August of 2021. So Darby Allin. But once again, everyone just likes Darby Allin, so they just fucking anyway, Darby Allin, and if you look at the picture of the man, you know what I'm about to say as far as the speaking of emotional abuse and whining. It's pretty much
So what is the accusation? It's just being a little.
I will say so this is Haley Cromwell. Darby Allin abused me, and I'm tired of being calling a liar by fans who have no idea the shitty person he really is. Somehow no one remembers. I'll never forget how he treated me like shit. Also for everyone saying his ex said he changed. He's attacking me, saying rape isn't valid because it didn't happen like hers, and completely disregarding the fact that I was under his thumb and stuck with abuse. This is like you can just it's one of those things where someone just dropping a frickin', as the kids call it, a brick, just like an essay about like how your rape I mean it's fucked up to say this, but basically like just so you know, that rape that you think happened didn't happen. That doesn't count when it's rape like that. But basically emotional abuse, telling someone their shit.
I mean, I think even the best example of this is even more than Darby Allin is AEW itself. Like you pointed this out, I think the last time we did a chat one, which was the whole Big Swole situation. Then what's his face was like, "Hey, apologize, Tony Khan," and that was just not on television and is just going to be released. And everyone will just be like, "Well, he wasn't elite. He was not elite."
Yeah, you got Leo Rush is like out of there, but Darby Allin. So here's I mean, this is classic.
But again,
Anyway, I'm going to talk about. He would talk about my family. This is Haley Cromwell talking about Darby Allin or Holly Cromwell.
Can I just say this? You keep saying Holly Cromwell. Do I know that person? Is that person in wrestling in any way, and I'm just not recognizing the name, or are you just giving their name?
I'm giving their name.
Okay.
He would talk about my family as if they were every problem I have in my life. He would get upset and scream at me and yell and treat me like his personal punching bag. He never laid a hand on me, just a mental punching bag. It got to the point I was so disassociated, I was walking on eggshells all the time that I didn't say much, and if I didn't reply how he wanted, I would get screamed at. He would tell me to do things he wanted me to do. He would tell me if I didn't do things he wanted to do, he would leave me. I lived in constant fear that if I say one bad thing, don't listen to one thing, he'd do everything that hate someone asks of me. Holly gotta spell check this. Anyway.
Whoa, Dylan!
I'm sorry. Some of it's like
get that toe off the line.
Toe over the line. Anyway. Whoa. But yeah, you look at this guy and you're like 100%.
Yeah.
What? This guy makes wait a minute. You telling me this guy makes black and white silent movies and is in an emo band? Of course he's like, if you don't have sex with me, then I'll tell everyone at school. You're 28. Yeah, but I'll call up everyone you went to school with and tell them you're skanky.
I don't think you've noticed, but I have a skateboard and I'm friends with a 64-year-old. I'm really cool.
Yeah. I mean,
you want to know how we became friends? We both paint our faces.
And it's like, I'll jump over anything. At least Jeff Hardy is the gentleman. You know what I mean? This guy.
Well, I'm not going to agree with that because I don't know the story, and I feel like it's a classic Dylan Got Trap. Here's what I would say.
He loved meth. He loves motorbikes. That's a real man. That's a pro wrestler.
That's right. That is a pro wrestler.
Emotional abuse.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to have sex? You jizz in your gas tank. The Jeff Hardy way.
Hey, do you want to watch Donnie Darko? Actually, I don't. It's literally the 300th day in a row, Darby. I'll cut myself.
Yeah, I just want you to know. I want you to watch me pee. I want you to watch me pee. I want you to watch my piss. It's like my dick trying.
How much do you want to bet Darby Allin when he yells at a girl goes, "Why are you doing this?"
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
It's exactly. I was literally gonna be. It's that like nasal growl of like, you don't get it.
You don't understand me.
The last time I punched someone
What
in
a
the face
Ooh.
was 10 years ago, and it was
2012.
It was 11 years ago.
Okay.
And someone showed up at a bar and they had just done a bunch of coke the first time, and they just went, "Why aren't you paying attention? I want to tell my story." And I said,
That's
"You're
Darby
on
Allin.
cocaine. You need to just chill out." And he went, "No, what are you gonna do?" And I just punched him in the face really hard. And then he went, "Okay," because it was the most annoying thing. He kept knocking over bunches of drinks.
That's good.
Watch
that was
this.
Darby Allin.
It was the Darby Allin that lives in Dylan and mine's life.
Darby Allin. But yeah, I mean, that will never come to light. I don't even know why I brought it up. I just remembered that happened, and they just skirted over it. One of the four pillars.
It's one of the. It's the.
Oh yeah, because you're talking about Jungle Boy. You want to talk about Jungle Boy, which is like Jungle Boy. Look at one of the four pillars. Jungle Boy, clearly the pillar of AEW that's there just because, like, you know, I think he's just there because his dad, the story that gets written, like where his dad, this is Luke Perry's fucking kid, and then
Yeah.
MJF, who's a bad guy on TV and says horrible things, but like seemingly a great guy. And then you get Sammy Guevara, who just like fucking left his fiance all of a sudden, which, I mean, if you're putting it next to Darby Allin, means nothing. So,
I mean, but what didn't one of the inner circle have to go to sensitivity training because it was like, what do you think about Bailey? And he was like, hey, you know, sex?
that was Sammy Guevara.
Okay, it was Sammy Guevara. I couldn't
It
remember.
was Sasha Banks, and he said something fucked up. But that was also like, was that recent, or I want to say maybe that was dug up, like that was old.
It was old, but it was done up. It was dug up in the speaking out movement, and they were like,
Yeah.
hey, you need to go to sensitivity. It was a very interesting one in that it was that thing of like, hey, we will deal with this, and then there's a bunch of other examples, and then it was like, hey, I thought we already dealt with it. And it's like, you dealt with one case, and it was like, yep, we only had one case, and you're like, no. Here's my point with Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy I think is the best example of AEW bad booking, in that every 4 months they try and make it seem like Jungle Boy is going to get a big push, and then they're like, oh, he got kicked in the face by the Young Bucks, never mind, fuck you.
I think that they're doing a good job just because I think that no one's on his side as much as they're on the other three's side. Like, he's clearly the worst one of those four people that they've, I guess, attached their future to. But also, it's like that for the four pillars, I think that's more a way to keep those dudes in your mind. Like, MJF, obviously, like, saying he's the future is a misnomer because, like, he's just great now.
Yeah, he's what he is he's Shawn Michaels in 95 feuding with Rick Martel for the Intercontinental title. Like, everyone who was watching that was like, well, I wonder who's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
So
it's just very clear that he's just good immediately. Like, he's like Kurt Angle, but if Kurt Angle started when he was young. Anyway. So obviously MJF.
But
and then you get Sammy Guevara, who says that horrible thing. Basically, he said, what do you say? He said, "You like, oh fuck, I just want to rape Sasha Banks," which is terrible, right?
Yeah, which is terrible. And also before 2017,
but then a guy who actually did those things, Darby Allin, people were like, pencils, erasers.
Well, yeah,
you have to go to sensitivity trading. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to tell this person who works at a convenience store, if they don't give me this Snickers for free, I'll commit suicide, and it worked. Okay, Darby, you keep on keeping on.
Yeah, Darby, why is your girlfriend just making everyone a tuna salad sandwich? Oh, I told her if everyone doesn't get a tuna salad sandwich, that I'll kill myself and it will be her fault and she'll go to jail. And her dad, who left when she was a kid, will never come back. And they were like, wait, why did you say all that? And it's like, don't you want a tuna salad sandwich, though?
Oh, sorry, you thought my in-ring influence was Macho Man. Very much out of the ring. That's my influence.
Yeah. Darby, who's your favorite wrestler? Out of the ring? It's a three-way tie between Macho Man Randy Savage, Grizzly Smith, Buck Zumhofe. In the ring, I like Rey Mysterio.
Really good. Grizzly Smith had really good psychology with his family at home. Not so much in the ring.
I really enjoyed how David Koresh's he kept kayfabe. You know what I'm saying?
So wait. Oh, so Jungle Boy. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If you push a dude, when has it ever worked? A wrestling company just saying this guy's the future all the time and actually worked?
Magnum TA, because he got into a car accident and they never had to make good on their word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Das Wunderkind, Alex Wright. Like, which one of these dudes is Das Wunderkind?
The Rock. The Rock literally his
but not
first
as
gimmick,
the dude who is the future.
No, but doesn't matter. His first gimmick was this guy's the future, and then they're like, that doesn't work. Can you figure out another way to get over because you are the future? And then he was like, yeah. Like MJF is the future of AEW. I got news for you. If I'm running that company in a creative way, what you're doing is you're going MJF is Ric Flair, Roddy Piper. Mm-hmm. In that it's if the man that is Roddy Piper, that style of wrestler, was given the gimmick of Ric Flair, they're MJF. MJF is in that style. The thing with that type of wrestler is they're an attraction unto themselves. They're like the Undertaker. They're like anything else. You need to build their world over there. It doesn't have to deal with your titles. Essentially, MJF would be Cody, minus everyone being like, why is Cody here?
Yeah, and I think that MJF, they give him a long title run, and you only really need to give him the bell once, and then it's like a break in case of emergency thing.
I completely agree. I would also say if you want to really make MJF a big star, Cody Rhodes turns on the Nightmare Family and becomes MJF's advisor for a little while. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. It's exactly.
MJF will get himself to be a big star. I believe that, but like,
I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Cody, like the whole Cody thing is, and now it's fun because I was down this YouTube rabbit hole of like watching all these fan videos where like, no, what Cody's doing is actually genius. Where
my God, I saw.
It's like no, he's just TNT will not let him. I stand by this. TNT will not let him be a heel. Yeah,
you're 100. Yeah, the TNT I guarantee is like, no, we needed one of you to be marketable on television, and unfortunately that guy got a neck tattoo 20 minutes after we signed the fucking contract, so we're going with him.
Well, just think about it. Like, when would a company or when would a TV station be like, hey, can the bad guy in this be our spokesman? No, never.
I mean, the late 90s. The late 90s? Like, 100%.
Well, like Walker, Texas Ranger. If you're doing a Mountain Dew commercial, you don't want to be like, one of the gang members that got kicked in the head by him.
Like, whoa, the only thing that'll make this better is a big Mountain Dew. Sweet. Yeah. Now I can deal drugs to kids all day.
And I got the energy and that cool, refreshing Mountain Dew breath.
Plus, my sperm doesn't exist anymore.
Oh my God, that was the most Canadian discussion from the age of 8 to 15. If you opened a Mountain Dew, your sperm's gonna go away. Which is weird that we knew what sperm was at 8.
Which was very funny because, like, I remember thinking, like, you guys want to have kids now? Like, I would always say that, be like, wait, 14, trying to get someone pregnant? Who cares where my fucking
Wait a minute.
sperms
Excuse
go?
me, Dylan. You were not trying to get people pregnant at 14?
Sorry, I got to keep all this fucking sperms, so if I finally make it with a girl for the first time, she immediately has my child.
Okay.
Immediately.
You are finally prepared to say.
So that I do what we call the full Darby Allin.
Yes, of course. You went for the, yes, of course. You are now truly a brother in pain.
If you keep it or get rid of it, I'll cry.
Do you find it weird that in wrestling, having your face painted is essentially like being of a certain race in prison? Like they just lump you together? Like the character Sting, break it down.
Of course, we got a bunch of African American wrestlers. We have Latin wrestlers, and then we got guys who fucking paint their face like fucking losers.
Yeah, exactly. But think about this. This is the Sting character, if I'm to believe it. He shows up places and he rights wrongs, and the biggest wrong he's seeing is no one is respecting Darby Allin's skateboard and wrestling ability.
I'd say Darby Allin's like, if you're gonna go with him, if you're just like, you know what, we do not believe women. We are all elite and not believing women, which is what their new slogan will be. We are all elite and not believing women. Anyway, if you're gonna be all elite and not believing women and push Darby Allin, like every match is like Darby Allin. There was just some tag match where it's like Darby Allin got shot in the face and then he went to the back. Sting beat the shit out of an entire tag team that were 20 years old. Oh, the Acclaimed, Bowens and Max Caster. And then Sting basically holds his own for 10 minutes, well into his 60s. And then once finally these two men in the prime of their lives finally get this 60-year-old in the ropes, Darby Allin comes out and helps him win.
Do you know?
Like, shouldn't that be the other way around, where it's like they
of course it
crippled the
should be.
60-year-old and the 60-year-old comes out? But anyway.
What's weird is Sting might be the most protected wrestler of all time. That guy.
Oh, sure. In All Elite Wrestling, 100%.
But the WWE, like, they were gonna put the belt on him with the absence of the Triple H match, which was literally the craziest thing ever. Like, of course,
Triple H match with him and Sting is hilarious because it's like,
It's
hey, the
amazing.
NWO is on Sting's side because we didn't even look at what WCW did.
yeah, because we don't. It's not like we have Ric Flair around. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
And also, like, the NWO is made up of Click members, so it's like we know and it's constantly been referenced that they're Triple H's friends.
yeah, it was bananas. And it should have been the NWO. It's also very clear the Generation X was just, well, we need our own NWO. All right, well, instead of being here to take over, we're just going to talk about doing it. I cannot stress this enough.
I have a hard boner.
Yeah, do you understand that the energy that we are displaying as Darby Allin yelling at this poor woman was the energy of DX at that time? And that was like, we're here to cheese is like, was so like 1997. That was the energy of youth culture. Like, it was men boys in baggy jeans just going, seaman.
I'm looking up Shawn Michaels' age because each year I was like, can you believe this man in his 30s? So 1965, he was 35 years old. He was our age. Yeah, that checks out. He was 33 years old doing those 32, 33.
Oh yeah,
jizz
he was
jokes
having a
where it's
great,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You're
That's
telling
still
me
in there. It's still in
Shawn
there at
Michaels-
36 for me.
Shawn Michaels, those years may have been the best. Shawn Michaels' job was do muscle relaxants and talk about jizz.
It's just us plus muscle relaxants.
So what are you going to be doing? I'll be talking about jizz and then taking muscle relaxants.
I will be discussing cummies, and then, whoops, I took a 19 Robaxa set. Time to drift into either sleep or death.
Yeah, hi, what's going on? I just want to let you all know that I'm here to die. Wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I didn't like Darby Allin for a reason, and then I totally missed the speaking out stuff. And it's like, it is because Darby Allin does remind me of those like guys where it's like, oh, the guys in high school who like weird music. Why doesn't anyone hang out with these guys? They all seem like they're good guys. Oh, they have to hang out with Darby. That's why no one likes you. You're all guilty by association of hanging out with this one guy who like everyone's having a good time, and he's like, could everyone be quiet? I have a poem to read.
Yeah, I never liked Darby Allin because I was like, I went to high school with this guy. This guy fucking sucks. And like,
the best way to do it is, the best way to make Darby Allin a heel, which would be so easy, would just be like he's dating a girl.
I guarantee,
basically just make Darby Allin off screen who he is on screen. Essentially, just like, why is this girl dating this weird loser on TV?
yeah,
But he would never do that because he probably is like, no, I was showing her the right way.
No, I don't date women. I use them. I'm a
Her
pickup
family was
artist.
bad. Here's what
Do
you
you
do.
guys-
The most important part of a relationship is to take their family away.
Yeah, my name is Darby Allin. Do you guys believe in the America First movement? Wait, what? You're like, so the reason why I bring that up is they value that what is good for America is good for everyone. What's good for
So-
Darby is good for you.
I think
Darby
America
wants-
First is actually a
Dar-
bad name for it.
It
Because
should be Darby first. Allen first. Darby first. Darby number one. Darby's number one. Do you wanna
America
know how I
First
know?
implies that there's other things. It should be America only.
It should be America is a place to go skating. Here is another thing.
I would
that
be great
don't-
if they just changed it where it's like, Darby, skateboarding's testing. You rollerblade now. How much
Oh my God.
I'm here to blade. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I
I'd
hope
fucking love
that's-
to show up as a jacked, like Powerhouse Hobbs shows up, jacked, rollerblading, just shoves one in
Oh,
Darby
yeah.
Allin's ass. Fucking
When you-
sideways.
Well, hey, man, you gotta
Yeah.
fuck a rollerblade if you're fucking ass.
rollerblading. And his songs plays, which they took 9 seconds to write because it just goes Powerhouse Hobbs, and then just that over and over again while he's trying to fit a rollerblade in his ass. Powerhouse. Don't finish the song until it's in there.
Okay, who's the guy that's actually Rick Steiner's son? That's not Powerhouse Hobbs.
Braun
that's Braun
Breaker.
Breaker.
Braun Breaker
I
shows up in AEW. We're gonna get where everyone's like, finally, Braun Breaker is where he's like,
Here's the first fucking thing you gotta do. Darby Allin, I want to form a tag team with you. We got some fucking similar things. But second of all, you fucking don't even count as my cockway, buddy. You fucking piece of shit. I'll fuck you in your fucking face, you stupid fucking motherfucker.
Don't expect to be fucking seeing Tony Khan because I fucking killed him because I found out he wasn't white. Braun Breaker's all elite. All elite means time to gentrify this neighborhood.
There you
but the way the John did it, Braun Breaker,
You
baby.
fucking yeah. Fuck you, fucking.
Braun break the conventions that white supremacy has been held back. Braun Breaker.
oh yeah, for sure. They bring him on. We're finally excited to announce Braun Breaker is all elite. He grabs some ice. First thing he says,
The Civil War was about states' rights.
and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, my name is Braun Breaker, and my first challenge goes out to critical race theory.
Yeah, and
You're back there.
in the control booth, they're like, somehow he's yelling over the bleeps. They can still hear him clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Beep! It's too. You have to up.
Yeah.
We cut his audio. You can still hear him off of our
Yeah.
mic back here.
Because you did teach my kid to fucking hate me.
It's a very important thing. You need the Joint Chiefs of Staff need to act and reinstate God King Trump in the name of freedom.
Dogs should be trained for 3 things: get your shoes, to take a walk without a leash, and take a cock like a fucking chick.
No,
Yeah.
Ron, no.
Yeah. If you haven't fucked your dog today, then you don't like your dog. Braun Breaker here to let you know that I am now fully shitting in my pants.
I shit my pants on purpose every fucking moment of.
That's the best
Yeah.
thing is Braun
If
Breaker.
I'm breathing, I'm shitting. I breathe and I shit. I don't like having anything bad in my body. Shit is bad. I'm shitting. I want to know who's back there who's going to represent critical race theory in my match again. Is it going to be Tony Khan's dad? I don't fucking like that guy either. He's not from here. I'm shitting.
Oh, I should mention this. We'll wrap up on this, and this is probably my favorite thing. I don't know why I didn't mention it last week, but there was a tweet. I will try and pull the tweet up. It is quite a while ago, but anyway, Braun Strowman was complaining because Braun Strowman brought his now girlfriend to and his I guess would be father-in-law, but his girlfriend's father to a strip club, and they didn't enjoy the food. Which I think it's pretty understandable. This is why the Brawns are the best, is because I hope 2 Brawns. One guy just yelling about critical race theory, and then the second one is like, just there's a long pause, and then he goes, "Here are the following clubs where they'll give you a full lapper with full touching, and you can get good wings."
This is one of the most insane stories I've ever read in my entire. Well, I took Raquel WWE and her dad to the strip club for a nice steak dinner, and I tried to get her a lap dance, and she said,
Yeah, it
"I
wasn't
don't
wings,
want your
it was
lap
steak."
dance. I don't want a lap dance. Text your friend Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'd rather him cut a promo on me than a dance. God, I love her." I'm gonna say this right now.
That's dope.
Johnny Knoxville wore sunglasses into the Royal Rumble. What the hell is going on?
Apparently that was like the first good thing that happened in that Rumble. This is all from reviews. I didn't watch the Rumble itself. But anyway, what we got to say is I forgot it wasn't wings and it was a steak dinner. The fact that it's a steak dinner makes it so good. Who eats a full steak? You're that tired and you're like, I got to go lap dance so this woman can lap dance on me while I just rip farts. Oh, there's no way that's a barbecued steak. That's a fucking grill steak. And there was nothing fucking wrong with a fucking nice fry up on a fucking steak like that.
course.
But you
Either way,
you don't want to be in public still. You eat that either
Dylan,
alone or you have an exit
Especially,
strategy.
you're also not considering that the only way to properly do that restaurant quality is you have to slather that in butter that you then cook, meaning those are loud, boisterous dairy farts.
And also, there's no chance that Braun Strowman isn't eating 4 of those steaks strictly for protein. So it's
Of
like
course.
your father-in-law's just sitting there while you're like,
Hang on.
Do you want a lapper, Greg? You want a lapper? You want to see some tits with your fucking daughter here, Greg?
Hey, Greg, you know how you're not my father-in-law? When you were my father-in-law, I would never do this, but you're not. Do you want to get your dick sucked by that black stripper over there? You want to get your dick sucked in front of your daughter? Do you want to get your
Hey,
dick
Greg,
sucked?
I have a list of strippers that look most like your wife. It actually looks like your daughter. So you want to get a fucking lapper
Greg,
if someone looks
Greg.
like your fucking daughter? I am.
You want to know why I came to this fucking strip club? It's because all the strippers look like your daughter, who I'm dating. I wanted to show you how much I love your daughter by coming
Yeah.
to this strip club where every stripper reminds me of your
Imagine.
daughter. Well, do you remember that your daughter came out of your wife's vagina? You created that woman with your penis, and now your penis is getting hard by being touched by another woman who looks like your daughter. I have had another steak.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I finished these 3 steaks. I thought it'd be a good idea to get my girlfriend, your daughter, a lap dance in front of you, her father. Anyway, I assume I'll be having a some sort of restrictions as to how close I can be to both you and her.
I assume you'll be sending a message of congratulations to be sued.
That's a fucking sick move. That's fucking sick. Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker, the Brawns, the tag team that needs to be.
Oh my god. Yeah. The Storm the Capitol boys?
Oh yeah, and also like every single promo, they'd be like the muscular Briscoe brothers, where it's like every single promo is just stream of consciousness Braun Breaker saying what he'd do if he was in government, and Braun Strowman just pumping steaks while not using utensils, but he's just ripping it apart. And then suggesting that each promo takes place in a new strip club and then he gives a rating out of 372 about how good the food is. Anyway, that's the chat. And I don't know. Maybe we'll just you know what actually would be fun for next time if you guys are still watching this? Send us some fun wrestler tweets, some weird wrestler tweets, and we'll just talk about
just
that.
a weird wrestler story, because I'm now, by the way, I'm supposed to go fold my laundry.
Ooh.
Instead, I'm going to start calling strip clubs, and I assume the Florida area.
There's no way that's not in Florida. Although some strip clubs in the South, to be fair, so Canadian strip clubs, they're all you always got the boobies and vajayjay out, which but you have to have better food when it's just a bikini bar, right? So,
I mean, do you?
hey man, NBA players, National Basketball Association players during the first lockdown when they were in the bubble, many of them broke out of their bubble to go to a strip club for wings, and these are men who are worth millions and millions of dollars, so that's saying something to me.
Well, that's also
saying
because it's
get
also,
those
but a
wings.
strip club's also a place where you can go to be private. It's
Lemon
a place
pepper
where
wings.
you didn't mention they were lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper wings.
Now, is it a dry rub? Or
Yes, because obviously it's not fried. You're an NBA player.
Okay, you're going to get those wings. So
Mhm.
You didn't mention lemon pepper dry rub, Dylan. I thought that we were wet barbecue sauce wings, which, and I've said this before.
I'm going to try and do that, by the way. I'm going to, on the way in, when they try and force a beer on me, I'll be like, take that beer away, don't drink. What I will take is a menu. I'm thinking ribs. And then they'll be like, ooh. And then I assume I'll be sitting with whatever NBA team will be in town.
Oh my god! I mean,
That'd be dope.
I've been to a strip club with Dylan. Let me tell you, Dylan, he knows how to act in the strip club. He almost
You
got
go
invited.
there, you're ready to fucking lose all your goddamn money. That's why you're there.
Yeah, Dylan got invited down to the S&M lounge, which I was not. I was just.
Oh yeah, that was on the way out. Will Duggan, very funny comedian, was like, "Is it a good idea to take out 200 pounds or something like that? Well, how much was it?
No. Is 75 pounds too much?
For what?
He went
What was it
75. We're not going to talk about it on air.
A rub or a suck. Anyway, we'll talk about it off air, but it was a rub or a suck. You can take that to the bank. Deposit it in the bank. Braun Strowman's at the bank. He wants to go to a strip club with your dad.
Do you want to get hard in front of your dad?
Braun, I've never wanted anything more.
What Will Duggan said, and I just will say it because I think it's very funny, which is he turned to us and just went, 75 pounds is too much to pay to eat at a stripper, right? And we went,
Yeah.
What? And he went,
He was so
yeah.
hammered. His eyes were not there. He wasn't there.
We were so hammered. That was Dylan's surprise bachelor party. We just
I had like
declared it.
9 different bachelor parties. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like, this
'cause
feels like a bachelor party. If a night was going well, I'd be like, this feels like a bachelor party.
It
And
was
we go
really
to a strip
fun.
club on a Tuesday where you get a lot of attention.
We went to a strip club on a Sunday, and we
Oh,
got
yeah, Sunday, Lord's
it
Day.
was, It was the Lord's Day. We went and smoked a bunch of cigarettes in that
See,
casino.
here's the thing, though. And someone pointed this out to me. If you're going to go to a strip club, if you're English, if you're an English person listening out there, because I know we have a lot of people from the UK that listen to this, you got to go to America just for strip clubs because the strip clubs, they don't. Here's the thing. The American strip clubs and North American strip clubs in general are women that live in the town, and this is their job. They're not the movie Taken, but no Liam Neeson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's not the movie Taken minus it's not the first scene of the movie Taken every day for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, I'll close. First time I went to a strip club in England, and this is a real story. I was like, because I'm used to North America where they understand, all the dancers understand. It's all in the same room also, so it's like one showroom, and the dancers will come up to you and be like, "You want to dance?" And you say, "No," and then they move on. They go to someone else, right? But in this one, there's a separate room. There was an upstairs with the bar, and then downstairs with the showroom. And then so I'm upstairs at the bar hanging out, and then this lady goes, "Hi, how are you?" And I said, "Oh, no, sorry. I'm not interested in dance right now." And she was like, "That's not why. I wanted to get to know you." And I was like, "What?" And then she was like, "How are you? Answer the question." I was like, "I'm pretty good." And she's like, "Good. See? That's what I wanted." And then she just like angrily sat, but like it was so close because the bar was so small that it was so close. It was like like 50 centimeters, 6 inches away from me. And I was like, I gotta leave.
Yeah, you had to leave.
It was a bad experience. Anyway,
I mean,
let's end on that. Braun Strowman forever. Braun Strowman, the official wrestler of the Wrestler Review.
yeah. What are you doing going to a steakhouse with your fucking dad,
strip club.
girlfriend?
Getting
strip
steak.
club. But yeah, that's
It
like
takes a special man to not go to a steakhouse to get a fucking steak at a fucking strip club. There was
With your
steakhouses around.
girlfriend's
He wanted to see
dad.
fucking titties while his fucking girlfriend was there, and he wanted his fucking dad to fucking be there. But
He
I don't know his dad.
basically-
Maybe his dad was like, "Braun, we're going to a strip club," and he's like, "Why don't I bring your daughter?" And
No,
he's
it
like,
was
"She's
very
already
bad.
here."
Yeah, what I think it was
Okay.
I think he was just like, "Hon, I really want to have a hard dick near your
Thank
dad."
you. Yeah. I don't know how it happens, but I want the end goal is erection next to your father.
I want to have a hard cock near.
But I
your
also want to
dad.
be full.
Oh yeah, well you have to have a nice dinner.
Whoop. Anniversary. That'd be good.
For those of you who can't see the video, Dylan and I are making what's this boner noise face? Whoa, 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 whoa. I like how we started this talking about Foo Fighters and how there's a double standard when it comes to celebrities being canceled, and now we're just showing each other our I have a boner face. Dylan.
Little close on this, but my mom and dad's first date. My dad said he knew a nice place, so that it was a strip club at lunch. And then she was like, "Oh, this is a strip club." He's like, "Yeah, no, isn't it good?" And then she demanded to leave, and he was like, "Oh, fine."
There,
Now that's
there
a
was-
man.
there was no easier time in the world than being a man before the year 2017. Do you understand?
Amen.
That man took your nice.
Nice.
Also, being Southern Ontario in the 80s was no one knew it was there. It was just rush and being wild.
And just go to a fucking strip club for lunch. Anyway, that's this chat. It's the longest one. I hope you guys liked it. We're going to do more. Send us tweets and we'll talk about the tweets. John, when are you going to Australia?
March 30th, I'll be there. Solo shows to be announced. Also doing Best of the Edinburgh Fens. Get tickets if you're in Australia. Also, if you're an Australian podcaster, Unless I know what your show is, I don't want to do your show. It's the weirdest thing about going to that country is everyone has a podcast and they get so butthurt when you go, no, I don't want to watch a full movie with you at 4:00 on a Sunday.
The podcast, like, man, talking shit podcasts are the best. But when someone's like, hey, do you want to do all this research? You're like, ugh, no. Anyway, that's it. Bye-bye.